This is the Hollywood Outsider. My name is Aaron Peters, and I'm your host. With me also is Scott Clark.
Hey, how you doing, Aaron?
Justin McCumber.
What's up, guys?
And Brian Williams.
Hello.
Hello. How is everybody?
Oh, I'm good.
Are you? What's everybody been doing? I haven't done much. I know, Justin, you just went somewhere.
Yeah, my wife and I went to Memphis for a few days. I'm doing research for some writing-related stuff, and Memphis is a town that I really adore. So it was a pleasure to drive up there and hang out for a couple of days and then drive back. Got back yesterday. It was a lot of fun.
And for those that don't know, Justin is actually a writer. He's had a couple published novels or books, and he actually just got a contract for more publishing. So,
well, I've published some short stories through magazines, won some awards with them. But novels, the two of them have just recently been picked up by smaller presses. So hopefully within the next 6 months or so, I'm not really sure what the time frame is, but at least within the next 6 months, I should have at least one book ready to go and available for purchase. And hopefully everyone in the world will buy a copy, adore it, and send me gobs of money.
So when's the movie deal?
Exactly.
Hopefully soon after.
Sweet.
That's where your big money is.
Make Jennifer Lawrence get any dirty parts you have. That would be great for me.
I'll see what I can do.
Today we are going to, we're going to talk about movies. That's kind of what the whole thing's about. Anybody else do anything exciting? We did a football draft. That's not really exciting. Everybody does one. Anything? Brian?
Nope. Sorry, no book deals for me this week.
Just a quick rundown of the format. We're going to talk about some stuff that's going on in news. And then we're going to talk about some of the recent releases that have come out.
I saw Tommy Two-Tone on Friday.
Who?
Tommy Two-Tone.
I don't know.
What is he, like 80?
Yeah. Is he alive?
Yeah, I got a picture taken with him.
Well, that's a cool story. That's almost as cool as a book deal. Then we're going to go into coming attractions. There's a couple movies coming out. I'm just going to pretend that never happened.
You didn't ask me what I did this weekend.
I didn't care. Then we're moving one of our sections to the flashback DVDs, which we'll talk about when we get there. But before the break, we're going to have a little contest here at the Hollywood Outsider. We like to shorten things down and call ourselves hoes. So we're going to play a little game called Stump the Hoe. Right before the break, we'll ask a trivia question, and then when we come back, we'll answer the trivia question. And if you're a really honest listener, you won't Google it. You'll just wait it out. Then we're going to go into our topics this week from the outside in. This week it's going to be movie moments that blew our minds, as well as we're going to give a quick explanation on how this is a really exciting topic. We're going to talk about it anyway. Kind of breakdown on why I always say buy popcorn at the end of the show. Then we'll go into DVD and Blu-rays, and then we'll end. That's pretty much it. Is it exciting? Everybody ready? That's good. It's going into the movie news. There's a few new trailers out. We talk about trailers every week, just kind of get an idea of what the movies are that are coming out. The biggest one, at least what I think is the biggest one, was The Hunger Games, which is the movie everybody's talking about. And the trailer came out, and I love Jennifer Lawrence. She's in the trailer. But I don't understand what the fucking point of this trailer was. It didn't show me anything except a girl shooting an arrow.
Yeah,
It's one of the most pointless teasers I've ever seen.
Yeah, exactly. Who's read it? Anybody read it? The book?
No, but I know of a few people who's read it, and they're all just amped, for this movie. But I'm kind of like you. I really couldn't figure out much from the trailer itself. I mean, I kind of know a little bit about it just by talking to my wife and a few other people who, like I said, who've read it. But the video, I mean, the trailer looked like, it looked like kind of a cross between that. What was the indie movie? What was it? Series 7, The Contenders.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
5-6 years ago or so. Kind of looked like, what was it? Surviving the Game with Ice-T, and but I could swear at the end of that the girl.
This trailer reminded you of Surviving the Game with Ice-T. That's awesome.
Well, you remember?
Yeah, I remember it.
The woods and hunting him down and stuff.
She didn't look like a black homeless man though.
No, but
Ice-T's homeless.
Whatever.
In that movie, he is.
Oh, okay.
But I could have sworn that was Keira Knightley in King Arthur at the end of that preview.
It just kind of looked like it, yeah.
I saw this trailer, and I've never heard of the series. I didn't even know it was a book series. I actually had to go look it up to see what it was about, because I was like you, saw the trailer and I had no idea what was going on. Girl running through the woods with an arrow.
We've talked about it on this podcast that you're part of. Just saying.
All right. Guess I should pay attention to the podcast a little more.
You should probably listen now and then.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
but
and you weren't even shit-faced that day either.
Well, I looked it up, and apparently Well, the thing that turned me off a little bit was it's published by Scholastic, which isn't that to me that automatically makes it sound like it's a kid's book. Is it a kid's book?
It's like Goosebumps.
Yeah, like
I don't know. I've never read it. It seems to be a really huge series. So
but it
It's
takes
considered young adult
right.
like Twilight,
YA.
But they
which means cougars are going to want to see it.
so it's like post-apocalyptic world, and they throw a young girl and a young boy in an arena basically out in the middle of the woods, and they have to kill each other.
Yeah, they're not going to kill each other though.
Here's what doesn't make any sense because
I'm
I was
guessing.
watching the trailer, and I read some of the notes underneath, like on the YouTube comments or whatever, and somebody made a comment about there's a whistle at the end of the trailer. That's
Okay.
Did you? I don't know if you heard it. And someone said, "Man, when I heard that whistle, I got really excited about this. Like they
From a
recognized
whistle?
it. Yeah, like it was a very distinct, pitch or whatever. And I don't get that. How do you recognize a whistle from a book?
Well, I think you have to. I'm sure it's a big part of the, just like a what's that thing from Harry Potter, snitch or whatever, just like that.
Oh, okay.
It's just I'm sure it's an important part of the story that I don't understand because I've never read it, nor do I want to. Bottom line is the trailer. It seemed very pointless. It doesn't tell me anything about the movie. If I, as someone who hasn't read the book, I didn't understand the concept of making a trailer for people that have never heard of it, and make it completely about. Basically, you had to have read the book to understand what that trailer was about. I don't see the point of that.
The point of a trailer is to get people to want to watch it. And
Yeah, fans of the book are going to go see it anyway.
Right.
I think. Another one, which is a much better trailer, I thought, was Rum Diary. What'd you guys think of that one?
I am stoked for this. This is my pick of these four, actually.
Yeah,
I
that's pretty good.
again never heard of it. Be honest, I'm not really sure what's going on with the story, but I need to see it. Awesome cast. Aaron Eckhart's in it, who I really like a lot.
Well, it's Johnny Depp as a writer in the Caribbean trying to make his mark. It's a Hunter S. Thompson novel. It's an old novel.
Okay.
But it's kind of like Johnny Depp paying his respect to Hunter S. Thompson, like Fear and Loathing in the Las Vegas guy.
I was going to ask because I got a Fear and Loathing vibe while seeing the trailer,
Yeah.
especially during the tripped out scenes or whatever.
What do you think, B? Because you're a big fan of the Fear and Loathing.
Yeah, I was kind of like Scott. I wasn't sure what to expect from. I mean, it looks good. It looks funny, but not slapstick comedy. It looks like a good kind of quirky antics. It looks really entertaining. I'm not sure how much I'll rush out to go see it. Kind of depends on when it what else is out that when it comes out that weekend. But I like Johnny Depp. I'm a big Aaron Eckhart fan also. I liked him in Thank You for Smoking.
He's got a very strong name.
I thought
I'm
he
just
was
saying.
awesome in that.
Awesome movie. I love Thank You for Smoking.
And I think Giovanni Ribisi is in it. So it's got a really good cast, and I'm all for it.
Check it out. The next one, which I thought was, it kind of took me by surprise because it seems like a sweet little fantasy movie for families. The Odd Life of Timothy Green. It's Peter Hodges, who I don't really know, and Jennifer Garner, who I'll really know from Alias. As parents, they apparently they can't conceive, so they spend the night writing down all the dreams of what they want their dream child to be like. Put them in this little lockbox and then bury it in the backyard, and then whoosh, the next day they have the kid of their dreams. I know it sounds kind of nerdy, but I think it sounds like a sweet movie if you're into family.
Well,
flicks.
it's actually Joel Edgerton is the actor in there.
Oh, is that the guy?
plays-
Okay, then Peter
Yeah.
Hodges is the director or something. Okay,
Yeah.
I read it wrong.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And
That's why I don't work for
know,
Hollywood.
It looks good. I mean, it kind of looks like one of those feel good movies. It'll probably make me cry at some point.
You cried?
It's some movies.
Okay.
I'm big enough to admit that.
I give you props, sir.
But it's really kind of it's odd looking.
Yeah.
It's odd looking.
It is.
Yeah, well, it kind of looked kind of reminded me of what was it, Phenomenon with John Travolta a few years back.
Yeah. What about it reminded you of Phenomenon?
Just the tone, I think. I can kind of see that a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. And
Very
this
whimsical.
kid apparently has got. I mean, he apparently sprouts out of the ground. I mean, that's pretty abnormal.
That's how I made kids. Just letting you know. I All that other stuff was bullshit.
I was intrigued by the trailer with the premise at the beginning, but by the end of the trailer, I had no idea where they were going to go with it from there, and I just get the feeling that it's going to be like it's going to be trying too hard to be emotional. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's kind of my take on it too. Just trying way too hard to pull at those heartstrings.
Mm-hmm.
You guys thought it's reaching a little hard from what you saw?
There was like probably a good 20, 25 seconds of the trailer with a kid just standing with his arms out and his eyes closed, like looking up to the skies. Like, why? That's again, what makes a good trailer? That doesn't make me want to see the movie. A kid with his arms out.
Maybe it's trying to appeal to the pedophile crowd.
Well, it just looks like one of those movies that was, geared from the ground up to be a Oscar type, movie. That kind of movie that you're watching and you can feel it screaming at you, "Cry, fucker, cry!"
Yeah.
I like
Feel this.
Jennifer Garner is pretty though.
Jennifer Garner is one of my top 5. Melon. I don't know if I say this right.
Melancholia.
Wow.
Melancholia.
Melancholia.
It sounds like chlamydia. Melancholia is
You've got a lot of experience with that, from what I hear.
Yeah, 3 times. You think third time's a charm.
It wasn't from me.
Melancholia. Yes, it was. Melancholia is Kirsten Dunst. Snaggletooth. She's she's in a movie. Apparently, it's a planet is hidden. It's been hidden behind the sun all this time. We didn't see it, and then it threatens to wipe Earth out. And so it's about a couple sisters that have some kind of family dynamic. All I know is Kiefer Sutherland's in it, Jack Bauer, and I'm really hoping he shoots these bitches before it's over.
Dude, I watched this trailer and I went, "What the fuck is this?"
Were you thrilled that I put that on the format? You're like, great, we got this movie.
Well, I couldn't figure out, is it a drama? Is it a sci-fi? Is this the sequel to The Fountain? Because that's what it felt like, seriously.
I think that's what appealed to me. It was such a visually striking film and had such unique imagery to it. This is one that I was really drawn into and thought I would love to watch this movie because it did have that Fountain feel. It had that indie attempt at making an artsy sci-fi type of movie. Which way is it going to go? I don't know, but I really want to watch it and find out.
All I know is the plot. The plot summary said that it was 2 sisters who find their already strained relationship challenged as a mysterious new planet threatens to collide with Earth. All right, if I see a movie about a planet heading to Earth, I don't care about a strained relationship between 2 sisters.
You want
That's
Bruce
exactly
Willis?
the point.
You want Bruce Willis to show up
Exactly.
with Ben Affleck in tow?
I want 2 space shuttles on their way with nuclear bombs and a bunch of oil drillers.
He's the best deep core driller.
And
Absolutely.
a slow homage to past Rocky films as they build their team.
I love that movie. Y'all can joke on it all you want.
I love that movie. I just think it's funny that he brought that up. Kirsten Dunst on an oil tanker. She wouldn't
With those
fall off.
boobs, she'd float it up.
She wouldn't. Yeah, she wouldn't fall off. Her
What?
tooth would catch the railing. Sorry. Okay. Well, that one looks interesting. I think it's gonna be one of those art films. I mean, she did win the Best Actress prize at Cannes, I think it was, somewhere. Which to me basically means she finally acted in something because I haven't seen her act yet.
Really?
I liked her in her
Interview-
first real big role.
Interview with the Vampire.
Interview with the Vampire.
She's
I thought she
great.
played that really, really well.
Yeah, she did that fine, but she was
And
12.
then it just went fucking downhill.
Yeah, her parents should have got her braces at that point.
Bring it on.
I'm just saying, she made money off it. She could have paid for it. Orthodontic
But,
care is not that
at
expensive.
this point, it's like her trademark, kind of like Michael Strahan.
Yeah. Wow. All right. I feel bad for all the guys she has to kiss. You ever think they just like get gashed up and they have to have first aid kits
It's
on
not
hand?
that
Right,
bad.
yeah, they got a medical staff on site at all.
When she
you know.
smiles, all I hear is. But she does have nice personalities.
Yeah.
Plural.
Plural. She's got 2 personalities. Moving on, some sequel news. Dan Aykroyd says Ghostbusters 3 is a definite go. I mean, granted, he said that like 5 times, but I think he might be onto something now.
No, that's hilarious because they swore up and down that it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, well, Bill Murray's not signed for it.
Yeah.
The
That's a
whole
mistake.
the whole plot on this one is going to center around a young team of Ghostbusters and be like one of those passing of the torch flicks. What do you guys think?
I want to agree with Scott that it's a mistake, but I really can't. I don't understand what Bill Murray's issue is with this movie because I've heard continually for years and years they want to do it. Bill doesn't want to do it. I've heard Bill doesn't even want to look at the script. but yet he'll turn around and do voice work for a Ghostbusters, and I'm sorry, Aaron, to bring this up, a Ghostbusters video game. He'll do a game, but not a movie. I don't get it. I don't understand what his reticence is, but I think Ghostbusters as a premise is something that could easily carry forward with a new group of guys, but you have to have a movie bridging them. If he is really just not going to do it, I hate to say it, but I have to say it. Fuck him. Move on without him.
I want to be clear. When I said it was a mistake, I wasn't. I don't think Ghostbusters 3 as an idea is a mistake. I think not including Bill Murray in it would be a mistake.
But if it's by his choice, what are they going to do? Do you
Right.
hold up an entire franchise and all the things that could be done with it just because one guy is just nuh-uh?
Yeah,
No.
I gotta be honest. I'm getting
you know,
kind of
if-
burned out with Bill Murray. His antics that he thinks he's a lot funnier than he really is anymore. I don't think he's been good for at least a decade. So I don't understand.
Zombieland was great. but that was
Minus
a
the
cameo.
5-minute cameo where he mocks himself.
Yeah.
He hasn't been good in over a decade.
Well, that's just it. He's the Robert De Niro of comedy at this point. I mean, he just, you bring him in as a face, as just, okay, here's this iconic guy. Nobody even cares if he's good or bad anymore. You just throw him in there, give him a little FaceTime, and he's instantly going to draw people to the movie. So I don't care. Kill him off and then bring him back, and then once Ghostbusters 3 is a hit, in Ghostbusters 4, you bring him back as a ghost.
Wouldn't you love to see Ghostbusters 3 with today's special effects? Like
Oh, hell
that just
yeah.
sounds like fun to me.
I think it would be great if they did it right.
Mhm.
I get worried that they're going to throw in like Ashton Kutcher or something because they've been.
That's
one of the names-
exactly what I was
that's
Well,
one
the
of the
next
names
group
afraid
would
of.
be Jeremy Renner, Seth Rogen, and I don't know who
Shia
else.
LaBeouf.
Yes.
You gotta get
Shia.
Token Black
That's
guy in
your
there though.
good
So
team.
I'd go see it if Shia LaBeouf was in
Well,
it.
Jack
I like
Black
Shia
plays
LaBeouf.
Slimer.
I wouldn't go see it then.
You need
that
it-
would keep me out of it. Why do you want to fuck up my childhood? I don't understand why you hate me.
Indiana Jones did it, right?
What?
Yeah.
Had Shia LaBeouf
George-
and
no,
Dancing
George
Monkeys.
Lucas.
Fucked
George
up your
Lucas
childhood.
keeps fucking up
Okay.
your childhoods.
Yeah, George Lucas is a bitch. We'll get to him in a second. Bruce Boxleitner, he confirmed that there's going to be a Tron 3. I'm only saying this because I know that Justin and Scott were fans.
Fuck yes.
hope
They're
it's
still
a remake.
hammering the idea out, though, so I don't really know what it'll be about.
Reboot. I want a reboot of the original.
That's not going to happen. They're making a sequel. The last one actually made a lot of money.
But with Cillian Murphy having such a tiny, tiny little part in Tron Legacy, they had to have cast him knowing if we do a sequel, your role will blossom into, because isn't he the son of the bad guy from the first film?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, well they when I saw him, I thought, all right, he's gonna be big in this movie. And when it ended and he never returned, I thought, all right, yeah, they must have put him in to set up whatever they're gonna do next. So I always kind of thought a sequel was a done deal if it made money.
Well, the next piece is kind of bad news to me. I'm a huge, huge Die Hard fan and Bruce Willis worshiper, except for Cop Out. John Moore was confirmed as director of Die Hard 5, and it's going to be in Russia. Oh, hang on, let me finish. It's going to be in Russia, and this time it's going to be him with his son, who will probably be played by Ashton Kutcher. Which would be kind of
Seriously?
no, but it
Oh.
would be funny, wouldn't you think? Hey, did you beg mom? He directed Flight of the Phoenix, which I'm a big fan of. I thought that was a great remake.
Great.
But he also directed Max Payne and The Omen, which were two shitty movies. I'm not really excited. Actually, I'm kind of depressed at this point. I wish at this point I would rather they just let Live Free and Die Hard be the end.
Did you like 4?
I loved it. I thought it was great. Yeah,
I thought it was really, really good.
it was really fun. I know everybody's like, "Well, he's on a jet plane and da da da." You know what? Everybody wants him to be back in an elevator shaft every time, and I think you have to. That franchise has to continuously get bigger because it's a sequel.
Plus,
And
you're a big Tim Oliphant fan, aren't you?
I am. I didn't like him in that movie.
Really?
I didn't really.
I
like him.
liked him in that movie. I thought he did a really good job as Gabriel, whatever the
I
fuck
thought
his
he
name
could have.
was.
He could have been so much better. I think either they tamed him or he was just trying to be a by the book villain. I just thought he wasn't Timothy Oliphant because I mean you go watch Go or The Girl Next Door. That's the Timothy Oliphant I wanted to see in that
That's
movie.
true.
Yeah.
And he should have played Max Payne, in my opinion. He looks like the character, and I think he would have portrayed the character so much better than
Absolutely. I thought he did great in
Funky
Hitman.
bunch.
I mean, he doesn't get much credit for it, but I thought he was fine in Hitman. And I thought for a million times before I went and saw that movie, he's going to suck because it's fucking Hitman. This should be Vin Diesel's movie. And
Yeah.
he did a great job. So anyway, so I'm not really looking forward to that. I think at this point, Willis just wants a paycheck. He's just sucking it up in franchises. He's going to make a Red 2, which I liked Red, but I really wish they just let it go. That's one of those. I think it's a one and done movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But moving on, this is the biggest news of the week. Really, is that George Lucas, who apparently has never met anything he can't fuck up, is fucking up Star Wars again for the Blu-rays. He's actually adding Obi-Wan's going to have a battle cry when he's chasing off Ewoks. There's going to be Ewoks that are chasing off Jawas. And the Ewoks are going to blink in Return of the Jedi. Why that matters, I have no idea. They're going to make the Yoda in the first episode 1 is going to be computer generated. It's not going to be the puppet because it was CGI for the next 2 movies. Which, all right, maybe I'll give you that one.
That one, yeah.
But the last one, which makes me just want to punch babies, and I don't like babies anyway, is that Darth Vader is going to scream, "No!" Just like he did in fucking episode 3, that really cheesy ass, "No! They're all going to laugh at you." He's going to scream "no" as he picks the Emperor up and throws him down a shaft while he's trying to kill Luke. Instead of just looking, giving him the little nod, the little Oakland Raider nod. And then picking him up and throwing him with the Oakland Raider helmet. What do you guys think? Seriously.
Go ahead,
What
Justin.
is his fascination with making these small changes that nobody really cares about?
He's senile.
What was it? The first one where he puts the computer generated Jabba the Hutt in a scene I think it was the first one, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
New Hope. Yeah.
Yep.
That scene was awkward as hell.
Yeah, it was.
That was it. It totally takes you out of the movie.
I know everybody is going to assume that I feel a certain way about this news, considering how important to me and my growth as a human being Star Wars was. But I'm really caught between two hard positions. On the one side of me is the artist side, the writer side, who has never written anything that he didn't go back to years later, reread and go, "Oh God, I wished I could have changed this. I wish I could have tightened that up. I wish I could have gotten rid of this part. I wish I could have made these changes to make this work better." And been frustrated by the fact that, whether it's because it's in print or it's been published or where we've moved on from it, there's no point to it. As an artist, there's, this belief that no work of art, no matter what the art is ever really finished. It's only abandoned because there's no painting you can't touch up, no song you can't add a note to. There's nothing that you really can't rework. And so I sympathize with someone like George Lucas who, has created something that has really just consumed his entire life. I don't think there's hardly anything the guy can do anymore that Star Wars isn't somehow related to. There's not an interview he can do. He can't turn a corner in his house without seeing it. And so I sympathize that when a new technology comes along like Blu-ray and he's going to release his movies again, I can understand that desire to reach out to that work of art and alter it a little bit, change it, maybe make it a little bit better for my vision.
And I understand that, and I'm not saying that George Lucas owes...
Can I finish?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wow.
Oh,
The other half of me is the fan. And the fan loves what the fan first saw. And it really pisses me off that Lucas, I don't care if he wants to change him. He can do whatever he wants. But it frustrates me that he will not respect his fans enough to release the versions of the films that we fell in love with. If he released, the original cut of the movie and then maybe the special edition cut and then the special editions, that would all be fine. There are a lot of people who love Star Wars the way it was and don't want to see it changed. There's no reason why he couldn't make that copy available to all of his fans so that they could continue to watch the movie they loved, pass that version of the movie on to the people they love, and have it be that way. We live in a world where there's myriad ways of delivering movies to people. He could make those available. I don't understand why he feels like the changes he makes that he believes in are the ones that we all are going to have to now love and fall in line with. You look at Blade Runner. You can go out and buy the Blu-ray that's got the original cut, the director's cut, the extended cut, the whatever fuck cut, but they're all available in one container. He could do the exact same thing for the Star Wars movies. I don't know why he doesn't want to do that, and it does piss me off. And I sympathize with all those people who are just so entrenched in hating the changes he's made to the original trilogy. So far, they haven't bothered me. I hate Han not shooting first. That one will always kind of make me kind of grit my teeth when I see it in the movie. But by and large, his changes didn't detract from the movie. I thought in some instances they did make it better, more visually interesting. And this whole no business when Vader raises it, the Emperor, from the cuts of it I've seen, it's not great, but I would like to see, a high def, really nicely done as opposed to the compressed YouTube, whatever it was I saw. Frankly, it always kind of struck me as odd that Vader just picked him up and threw him, that there wasn't some kind of an emotional release in his voice, that he wouldn't just, even if it was just just in throwing him, it was such a silent action. It always seemed a little weird to me. So him adding in the no doesn't necessarily bother me. I do wish he would make the original versions that were available to everybody who doesn't want to have to watch those versions, because we all don't have Laserdisc players, so we all don't have nice versions of the original trilogy as they used to exist.
Well, he's essentially just about making the original version on VHS or something, collector's items.
Yeah, and I wish I do still have a collector's edition of the originals on VHS. It has like this hologram cover and all that, and I will forever retain that because I do want to have that version of it available to me.
I did buy the recent New Hope that came out like a couple years ago, where it had the original release without all the changes, but it's in 2.0 sound and shit, and it's like a spare extra copy in the back that's not even part of the whole package, really.
I think if you were to probably ask most directors out there if you could change a movie and re-release it, would you do it? And even if it was a much beloved version of your movie, I bet more directors than not would say, yeah, I really do wish I could make some changes, but they're not in a position where they can do that. Lucas, because of all the smart maneuverings he did with the movies, retains all the rights. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. So he can do what a lot of them can't. Maybe that's not to his betterment, though. Maybe directors are fortunate that they can't go back and muck with what a lot of people consider to be, their best works.
Yeah, I think James Cameron would probably make sure Titanic never sunk. I mean...
Well, you can't fight history.
Scott, what was your thought? You wanted to say something.
I don't know. I'm afraid to talk now.
I will allow you to speak.
You did get bitch slapped to the microphone.
No, I apologize, Justin. I thought you were done. I realized that you had a second half of your thoughts, so I apologize. I didn't mean to cut in on you, but I'm with you that he's an artist and he's got his work. He doesn't necessarily owe his fans or anything. It's his work and whatever. But I agree with you wholeheartedly. How hard is it to release both versions? That's what everybody wants, and he could make so much more money doing it. It would be just a total cash cow that whatever collector's edition, you throw an extra $20-$30 on it.
I don't think he does it for the money, man. I think he does it because he thinks he's right and it's his shit, and he's going to do what he wants.
He's wrong.
It's an ego thing all the way. It's not about money. He's got more money than he knows what to do with it.
He was also the one that insisted on aliens in Indiana Jones. Oh, I'm sorry if I spoiled that one for you. He's the one that insisted on it. Spielberg didn't want to do it. Harrison Ford didn't want to do it. But the only way he would agree to make a new Indiana Jones movie is if they had aliens, if that was the end game.
And Harrison Ford was like, I'm going to be doing another movie with aliens and cowboys here in the next couple of years. So
No, actually, Steven Spielberg, he really didn't want to do it. He's like, I've done aliens. I'm done. I've done it.
Yeah.
But that's the only way that they would agree to do it. So
Lucas says, you're done when I say you're done, bitch.
right. I want Shia swinging with monkeys.
Yeah, unfortunately with Lucas, it seems like he's one of those instances of the uncontrolled artist, that there is no editorial voice around him that is either loud enough or respected enough to break through the wall he's created around himself. And I know that me as a writer, my best work comes from brainstorming my ideas with other people, having people read my stuff, come back to me with their thoughts. None of the books or stories that I've written is wholly my own. There are so many little bits and pieces. Other people helped contribute to it. I wish Lucas would do the same and actually have no men around him instead of just a bunch of yes people.
It's really sad. I'm not gonna lie. He's really. I wouldn't say destroy him because, obviously I had a lot of other movies that Star Wars wasn't my biggest one, but it's just one of those things where when I go back and I have nostalgia,
Mhm.
I want to remember the movie that I remember. I don't need all this extra shit. You know what? You made your prequels. That's really a current adaptation of your story.
Mhm.
And you couldn't get that shit right. So as far as I'm concerned, you should leave the classics alone.
Well, and when you look at all
I
the
hope he-
other
I
stuff
hope-
that's
I hope
been
he
done
adds
around
Jar
Star
Jar.
Wars that is so great, like when he did when they did the Knights of the Old Republic stuff, that stuff is so interesting. Whether you're talking the comic books or the games, the Force Unleashed, some of the ideas that are in that. There are people out there that can make Star Wars the pinnacle of sci-fi geekdom that it used to be, but that it no longer is because Lucas has got this, Vaderish stranglehold on it. I wish he would say, you know what, let me back away and let people who are talented do what they do best and make this good again.
And especially the no thing. Literally, I liked Revenge of the Sith. That's the only one of those three I liked. And I was with that movie up until Vader puts on the helmet and screams "No!" and I actually laughed out loud
Me too.
in the fucking theater. So I'm sorry, Lucas. You are an idiot. You're a senile, old, crazy man that no longer has, which is sad because he probably has the power to just destroy me. But it's just leave your shit alone, dude.
You
Leave
know
it
what's
alone.
funny though is we bitch about it, but I'm still gonna buy it.
I won't.
I know Justin will.
Oh yeah, my Amazon pre-order was made months ago, and I'll watch it. And if I really really hate it, then I'll just hate it. But I'm hoping once again my desire to like things will come through and have it so that I don't have a huge issue with more of the things he's done.
Well, let's go on to some news that'll appeal more to.
Let's find some light.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. This movie's not about light. Josh Brolin got cast as Old Boy in the American remake. Christian Bale's still rumored to be the villain. If anybody's never seen the movie, it's about a guy who gets imprisoned on his daughter's birthday, and then he escapes after like 15 years to figure out why. I think it's basically what the plot was.
This is my flashback.
Yeah, it was a flashback a few weeks ago. I know Brian's a big fan of this. Are you guys happy with that choice? I'm not. I like the movie. I'm not a huge fan of it. So
It's fantastic casting.
is it? So it works.
I think so.
I agree, and I don't know. Old Boy is one of those movies that I like it the way it is. I wonder if this is going to work as an American. I mean, number one, are they gonna go as far with the American version that they did with the Japanese version?
No fucking way. No fucking way. It's America.
I mean, and that's exactly. I don't know, and I'm not
It
being
would probably be PG-13.
probably, and I'm not being like elitist, like don't fuck with my movie kind of thing. But that's just one that Old Boy was perfect the way it was for me, and I'm not like a huge foreign film fan. I don't watch a whole lot of them, but that's one that I didn't care reading the subtitles and doing it. But like Justin said, I think I like this cast, but I just like Old Boy the way it works, and I'm not pissed off about it or anything. But I just don't think it's necessary. But that's just me.
Brian, you're a big fan.
Yeah.
Anything?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you turning me on to that because that was
I'm here to turn you on.
I'd never heard of that. I'd seen the cover before and was kind of curious, but it was one I always kind of just put to the back burner.
Oh, you did watch it?
Yeah, I did. I really liked it. It was so I'm kind of the same way. I'm just kind of like I really like the cast. I like Christian Bale. I like Josh Brolin. I'm sure they'll do good in it. It's just it was fine the way it was,
Mhm.
and it worked. And I will watch it. But I'm kind of curious to see what Spike Lee would do with it. I mean,
Oh yeah, I forgot that Spike Lee's directing it. I didn't say that.
you know,
Which means it'll probably be
which
a
means
black man will be in it.
If Danny Aiello was in it, you know, as a cast member, I'm probably walking out of the movie. But
Well, Ben Affleck's going to be in it too.
oh god,
I'm joking.
Keeping up with remakes, and we're almost done with news. Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio are remaking The Gambler. It's like a 70s flick that James Caan started. It's about a gambler.
Get out of here.
Yep.
Did they have Kenny Rogers or something in it?
No, that's a different movie. Same concept.
Oh, okay.
Same
Sorry.
concept. I would love to see
I hear
DiCaprio.
Gambler. I think Kenny Rogers.
I would love to see
Exactly.
DiCaprio singing that song. That would be awesome. It's just basically a gambler gets over his head. I don't really care about that one. I just thought there's a lot of Scorsese fans, so if you like that,
I know,
go crazy.
Scorsese or DiCaprio in a Scorsese movie. I'm
Hey,
sold.
they did The Departed, and I thought Infernal Affairs could never be remade, and they did it. so
Departed was awesome.
it was. I hope Marky Mark's in this one because that's the only time he ever acts.
Oh, he was so good in that movie.
Columbia Pictures is remaking Flatliners, which is that one movie that had like Kiefer Sutherland and Julia Roberts like years and years ago, and they were
Kevin
like,
Bacon, when he in it?
yeah, he was in there too. Kevin Bacon was in there. So that'll help anybody playing the 7 degrees right now or 6 degrees right now. It's about like young people dying, doing some acid tripping, and then coming back. Basically, this is really all the plot was. I don't know why they're remaking that one because it wasn't that good a movie to begin with, but it was trippy. You would like it. What did you like about it? Other than Julia Roberts was hot at that time.
She was?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it was dark. It was kind of, I don't want to say scary, but it was kind of spooky, you know, in a way, especially as it kind of develops, you know, the little images and the memories that they kind of come across, the deeper they go into death, because that's basically what they're doing is they're dying, but their friends are bringing them back, and it was kind of almost like Jacob's Ladder with
I'll give you that.
Tim Robbins in a way. So it was you know, I'm not just you know, dying to go see a remake of it, but yeah, we'll see. It sounds promising.
All right, there's Brian's word. Okay, the last real quick piece of news is that AMC, who's not been doing stuff very well lately, if you ask me, because they let Frank Darabont go from the Walking Dead series, but they did say that they're going to expand the Walking Dead premiere to 90 minutes, and then they're going to split the season up, so it'll be like a lot of cable shows where you get like 7 episodes, then you'll get the other episodes next year. I was a real big fan of the original show. There was only 6 episodes, so I'm still being pretty reluctant to get too invested into it because I'm afraid that they're going to screw it up, especially since they just got rid of the showrunner. But they also gave Kevin Smith a reality show, which that's kind of interesting. It's going to be called Secret Stash, and it's going to be Kevin Smith has a comic book shop called The Secret Stash, and it's kind of going to be an in-depth look at like geek culture and a lot more than just his comic book store. At least I hope. So there's a couple of interesting things there.
I'm surprised I'm not more excited about the Kevin Smith reality show because anything that brings geekdom to light, I'm excited for it. But I'm just so tapped out on Kevin Smith at this point with the podcast. And
yeah,
he's been pimping himself like crazy.
I know, and it's just getting annoying. Like I liked him when he was just lesser known director with the cult movies, and
when he was the first director that had a movie that spoke like your friends do and stuff.
Yeah,
and now you're to think you're still one of those guys. And since he started smoking dope, he just drives me nuts.
Mm-hmm. And talking about
the last thing I want to do is sit there and watch an hour of his fat ass walking around in hockey jerseys all day.
Well, to be
sorry.
fair, Kevin Smith will probably very rarely show up in the show. He'll probably be there for the pilot episode.
Oh, great! So that means we're forced to watch Jason Mewes.
No, because Jason Mewes also the Secret Stash, Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, is located in Red Bank, New Jersey, far, far away from where Kevin Smith and Jay Mewes and all them live. It's in New Jersey. I think he's got a couple of different shops, but this one is in his hometown. It's run by Walt Flanagan, who you might recognize from a couple of his movies. In fact, in Mallrats, he's a guy who says, "Tell him, Steve, Dave." And in fact, the guy who was standing next to him in that scene, Brian Johnson, doesn't officially work in the store, but kind of hangs out there. The both of them have a podcast on Kevin Smith's network called Tell Him Steve, Dave. And it's a really interesting podcast. I enjoy listening to them because Brian Johnson is kind of like me. He's a little dry, a little sardonic, very sarcastic, whereas Walt Flanagan he's kind of more of a conservative guy who has got a lot of opinions about a lot of things. And when he gets laughing and having a good time, it's really, really funny to hear them go off. And I think a show about these guys in the comic book shop they run with some of the people that come in and out of it could really be quite interesting and fun to watch. So I'm excited to see it. I don't think Kevin Smith will be in, every episode just sitting in the background with his, trench coat on, leaning against the wall. I think he'll probably be in the pilot and that'd be it.
Well, we'll wait it out. We'll find out.
Well, how can you have a reality show about Kevin Smith without Kevin Smith.
Well, it's
I don't think it's about.
It's
him,
more
though.
about
I think
geek
it's about
culture.
the comic book shop and geekdom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brian.
All right.
So we'll find out. We'll find out. Although I'm convinced that as much as he likes to pimp himself, he'll be in every episode, every shot. And
Check out my
and-
podcast.
Yeah, here check out my podcast. I've got 16 of them today. My radio show, whatever else he's got going
And
on.
play Infamous 2.
The we're gonna move. Really? Where did that come from?
No, he's been plugging that in
Oh,
his podcast.
I think you just made that up so you could say the words. we're gonna move on to the big screen where we talk about what's playing in theaters right now. Review anything that we have seen. I went and saw Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, and
Me too.
actually before I get to that, because Brian and I both saw it. I don't know if anybody else did, but
Not
real
together.
flashing back to last week, Justin reviewed Conan the Barbarian. which
Ah,
is
shit. Here we go. I'm ready for you to just hate it and blame me for it.
No. I will tell you, I've given it out of if $10 is full price, I would pay $6 to see it. I think it's a fun movie, but the first 15 minutes, I wanted to fucking get up and leave. Where you have they were fucking stupid. You have like a battle, right on the battleground. They give like a C-section and shit to this chick because she's pregnant, and obviously that's Conan. And then you get this stupid, campy father-son banter with Ron Perlman from Sons of Anarchy. I don't know how you make him look like a retard, but the movie made him look like a retard, I thought. Everything was just horrid. And then Jason Momoa, is that how you say his name? Momoa? Shows up.
Close. Yeah, close enough.
Okay. That dude, awesome. I had no idea who he was. I've never seen Game of Thrones. I really want to see it. But he was fucking awesome. I thought he picked that movie up from the piece of shit I thought it was going to be and made it fun. And then from that point forward, every action scene was fun. You were right. Rose McGowan was horrible. She should really just stop acting.
Her
at this point.
fantastic boobs could not save that. Or
No,
that part.
no, they could not. They are pretty fantastic.
Rachel
They're visible?
Nichols though
Rachel Nichols is gorgeous.
looks good.
She's gorgeous. I love her.
Yeah.
She was actually on Alias too, which I'm a big fan of. If you haven't caught
Yeah,
on
the
yet.
last season.
Yep. So I just wanted to say that real quick. I thought once Jason Momoa shows up, it's probably about 15, 20 minutes into the movie. You know, they've got Conan kind of established, and it's battle scene after battle scene after battle scene after battle scene. That's the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very little yapping. A lot of blood and guts, and it's totally a guy's movie. I mean, if you're into just shit getting killed, and
What'd your wife think?
she loved it.
I bet.
She thought it was great. She, although she was really, I mean, my wife very much, if something's very campy and cheesy, she will laugh her ass off. She's not one of those people that'll control it. She'll just start laughing in the middle of the theater. So we were at the drive-in, thank God, and she just started busting out laughing. For the first 15 minutes, she couldn't stop laughing. She goes, "Seriously? The umbilical cord's right there?" And da-da-da-da. I mean, because they literally give his Conan's mom a C-section on the battlefield. It's fucking retarded. And it's, while he's sitting there, he's holding her in his arms, and I'm not spoiling anything. This happens in the first 15 minutes. Holding her in his arms, and she's dying, and she's pregnant, and obviously all these people are fighting. Nobody realizes they could take down the main guy right now, really easy, because he's just laying down holding his dying wife. But whatever. And then all you see is him pull out his knife. You hear the sound, and then the kid pops out. I swear to God, I couldn't make
The
that up.
kid who played young Conan looked quite a bit like Momoa, and I thought he did a pretty decent job in the one action scene he had to do.
He did. I thought really the battlefield thing with the baby was just, I couldn't stop laughing, dude. That was fucking retarded. It was horribly executed. Everything about it was bad. But from that point, once Jason Momoa, if I hope I said it right, showed up, it was a fun movie. Really liked it. That said, I don't want to dwell on it too much because we talked about it last week. But so thanks for the recommendation. I actually liked it.
Good.
Going on to this week, Brian and I saw Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. Just to kind of give you an idea what that movie is. Little Sally is this girl that gets kicked out of her house because her mama doesn't want her no more. And gets sent to live with her dad, Alex, who's played by Guy Pearce from Memento. He's also shacked up with this chick, Kim, played by Katie Holmes. They're restoring a Gothic mansion, Brian?
Yeah.
They're restoring that, and it doesn't take long before this nosy little shit starts finding little corridors and stuff and sets loose a bunch of cheesy-ass CGI monsters to
The kids.
torment the child and da-da-da-da. And then it ends up being the monsters are terrifying her. Nobody sees them. But then Kim, Katie Holmes, starts to believe her. What did you think, Brian? I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of a darker version of Gremlins, but I liked it. It was it starts out pretty slow. It kind of picks up about midway, and I mean I won't ruin anything, but the ending is pretty. It kind of shocked the hell out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much. It's not a kind of part I didn't see it coming, and part wow, that looks like it hurt type of moment.
That's true.
But yeah, it was entertaining. I like Guy Pearce a lot. He's one of my favorite actors. To me, he's like Johnny Depp before Johnny Depp became Johnny Depp. You know, the big budget blockbuster guy. He's still kind of like that.
He still does indie movies and
that
stuff.
indie movie, right. And he's actually kind of going back to Joel Edgerton. They're in a movie together called Animal Kingdom, Australian movie, which is really good. But yeah, it was worth. I'd say solid 6, maybe 7.
Okay, so you really liked it.
Yeah, you hated it?
No, I didn't hate it. I thought I gave it 5 out of 10. I think that Katie Holmes was horrid until the last third of the movie. Like, her acting was just bad.
Yeah.
Guy Pearce was fine. He didn't really seem like he was that kid's dad, though. The whole time I'm like, you don't really even like that bitch. I'm telling you right now. Because that kid's wandering all over the fucking the landscape. I mean, getting in all kinds of trouble. And he's just like, you need to just understand that you're loved. Now, go walk it off. I mean, it's basically how he acted. And I thought the kid was really good. The little girl that plays Sally, I thought she did fine. The CGI was a little but I kind of give it. How do you say his name? Del Toro. I can never say his first name right.
Guillermo.
Thank you. Guillermo del Toro is the one who wrote the movie, but it wasn't directed by him. You can definitely see his elements in the script. I kind of like the little. They're like really tiny gremlins, and I like how they talk, and I like how they really get under Sally's skin, and how they're afraid of the light. And I think they do a pretty fairly clever way, or a clever use of playing that. You know what I mean, Brian, with the light and the dark and the light and the dark, and it really comes alive during a dinner party, which is really kind of like the final act, which I don't want to ruin. I thought it was a fun little horror movie. I think it was great, like if you're at home with your wife or whoever, boyfriend, if it's you, Scott, and you're sitting around wanting to watch a scary movie. I think it's a good little thriller. I didn't think it was great by any means. I just really, the CGI is really cheesy at times. Katie Holmes was even cheesier at times. Like, seriously, the first 2/3, I was sitting there talking to my wife, really? This is the best you can do? This is the best you can do. And it's a rated R movie, and it shouldn't be. Would you agree with that? Because I really didn't see any reason to have it rated R. Outside of the
opening, end. Well, the opening scene of it is pretty...
Yeah, that was pretty graphic. But that's the only thing. I mean, there's like 2 scenes that warranted anything. The rest of it were really PG-13, I thought.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's really more suspense than scary. You know, jump out at you, rah. But
can you do that again? Rah,
rah.
He's really selling that.
I know. He's really scary when he starts growling. I think it's a fun little. It's a nice little date thriller type movie. It's nothing special. I thought Brian liked it more than I did, obviously, but. I didn't say it was bad. It's not bad. It's a average. That's what 5 to me is. It's an average movie. You know, nothing special. So moving on. That's our review of Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. Brian liked it a lot more than I did. But neither one of us was saying that.
$1 more? I mean,
1 to 2. You said 6, maybe 7. So I'm saying
maybe 7.
You know, maybe you're a big spender. I'm kind of cheap. Recapping this weekend, because we're kind of doing the podcast on an odd time. The weekend results right now are Apollo 18, Shark Night, and The Debt all opened. They're all going to make less than $10 million from Friday to Sunday. That's really bad. Neither one of them is going to be a hit. The Help is still number 1 with only like $11 million, which most of you probably don't care about this stuff, but from anybody who pays attention to any box office numbers, that's horrible. $11 million for a number 1 movie from Friday to Sunday is horrible. It'll make a few more because of Labor Day, so the news will report a little bit more, but it's really about $11 million. It's not boding well for Apollo 19 or Shark Night 2. So, which is really
Our brother saw Our Idiot Brother. He said it was hysterical.
Really?
Yeah, he really, really enjoyed it. He said I should run out to the theater and see it immediately.
The reviews are pretty good about it, so...
I love Paul Rudd.
I was going to go see Shark Night. My wife and I went to a movie last night, but we ended up seeing one we've already seen. But, or I'd already seen. But I wanted to see Shark Night, but it was rated PG-13. Once I found that out, I said, fuck it.
Let's go watch Piranha.
Yeah, I'd rather watch Piranha again. Because that's what I thought it was going to be, and obviously if it's PG-13, it's not what I thought. So moving on, coming up this weekend, September 9th. Here are some of the ones that are coming out. First movie, Contagion. It's Matt Damon's wife gets infected with some unknown disease. I don't know what it would be.
Matt Damon. I thought it was Ewan McGregor. That's Matt Damon?
That's Matt Damon. Yeah. It's a bunch of A-list celebrities pop up. Kate Winslet's in there. Gwyneth Paltrow. Marianne Cotillard. I can never say her name. They pitch in to figure it out. It's a Steven Soderbergh flick, which means it'll probably be interesting. It looks like a little Outbreak mixed with Traffic because all the stories kind of connect, you know?
Yeah.
Great reviews so far. What do you guys think of this one?
That's my pick. It looks interesting, but I think I'll probably wait for DVD. It looks good.
Well, let's not do the pick till we're done with the movie, but
okay.
but it looks good. You guys, what do you guys think, Justin?
I do not want to see it. I do not want to see it because it's too close to what could happen. Movies like that and like Hot Zone, the true dangers that are lurking out there are microscopic, and they all want to kill you. And I don't want to sit in a theater seeing what could be happening next week. It freaks me out too much.
I do.
But
I can't wait.
But he loved Armageddon.
I love Armageddon because there's probably not an asteroid coming down, and if it can, Bruce Willis will save us. Bruce Willis ain't saving your ass from a virus. No deep core drilling's fixing that.
Go ahead, Brian. What were you saying?
Well, you may get a virus from some deep core drilling, but anyway.
That's true.
Wow.
I can't wait. I love these types of movies. I love being scared like this, you know, and I guess I'm kind of the opposite of you on here, Justin. It's I've been waiting for this for a few weeks, so I'll definitely be there opening night for this one.
I probably will. I'm a
Makes me want to
hypochondriac.
bathe in Purell.
It does. I'm a hypochondriac, and I can almost guarantee you I'll probably take Germ-X or some shit with me when I go
Some
see
handy wipes and just not touching
Yep.
anything with your bare skin because it will kill you.
I'll just be like Monk through the whole movie, yelling at my wife. Wipe, 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 wipe. Warrior is also coming out. That's actually getting pretty good reviews. Tom Hardy, who was in Inception, Scott, the only movie you can remember from last year. As it's kind of like an MMA version of Rocky. Reviews are pretty good. That looks interesting. Bucky Larson, Born to Be a Star. That's from Adam Sandler's company. It's Nick Swarsden, who's a pretty semi-well-known comic, I guess, as a buck-toothed dweeb who finds out his parents were huge porn stars, and he runs off to go see if he can be one himself.
Looks freaking terrible.
It does. Bucky and Hare. Burke and Hare. Did I say Bucky? I'm still stuck on the Bucky Larson thing. Burke and Hare is... This one actually kind of looks kind of interesting to me, but we'll finish once I get the synopsis rundown. John Landis is directing like Simon Pegg and Andy Serkis, who does a lot of the CGI. He did Gollum and he did Caesar and Planet of the Apes movie. They're two very British guys from the trailer I saw who take up murdering people to supply a local community with cadavers. I don't know why. Isla Fisher's in it, and she's in my like top 5. Please God, let me catch her while she's down in the dumps and willing list. She's in there, man, because she's that hot. And funny. I love hot and funny. You mix them together, I want to see the movie. I don't even care if those two guys don't do anything. Creature is another one that's coming out. It looks like Hatchet with a creature from the Bayou Lagoon instead of a mass murderer. Just running around killing people a lot. Trailer's horrible. They say it's going wide, but I don't see how that's possible because it looks horrible. So what do you guys think of it? Any of these stand out at you? I mean, realize we'll do the pick, but any of those that sound different? Because Bucky Larson sounds like every Adam Sandler movie ever made.
Yeah, I have no interest in seeing that whatsoever. Warrior, I think, looks interesting, but it's nothing that I'm going to run out and see just because I don't know, I'm tired. I'm tapped out on sports or movies or boxing movies or, you know what I mean? I mean, granted, this is MMA, sure, whatever, but, and they got the idea with their brothers, right?
Yeah, they're brothers that I guess fight for the title or whatever.
Yeah, which is interesting, but I just have a hard time getting excited about sports movies at all anymore. So,
what do you guys think?
Warrior's my pick.
Warrior?
Yeah, I don't normally watch sports movies, so I'm probably not as worn out on them as Scott is. They usually don't interest me. I think Tom Hardy being in it is part of what really interests me because I like him as an actor and I like the roles that he's chosen. And from the from the trailers and the posters, he got ripped to play this role. I mean, he really invested himself in the role, and so I'm interested to see how he's going to do in this film. And of the movies listed, that's definitely the one that I'm most likely to go see. Piece of little pre-trivia.
Okay.
Tom Hardy was in a science fiction film several years ago. What movie was it?
A science fiction movie.
Mhm.
Actually, I don't really follow Tom Hardy.
And not Inception.
Supernova.
I was gonna say, was it Supernova?
No,
Sunshine.
he was in Star Trek 10, Nemesis.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, he's the bad
played-
guy. Was he the bad? No, he didn't. No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was a bad guy.
Okay.
He played Picard's clone.
Okay, I kind of remember that.
A
I'm not a huge
So there
Star
you
Trek
go.
fan though.
little warm up for you.
So-
Y'all build.
Warriors, your pick. Brian, what's your pick?
Out of all of them, it'd be Contagion. But out of those others, probably Burke and Hare. I like Simon Pegg. He cracks me up. He's got a lot of clout with me, so I'll watch just about anything that he's in.
Really?
Lucky Larson, and yeah, I'll wait till cable to watch that. Warrior looks really good, but I'll probably wait till DVD or maybe cable, because it looks like The Boxer with Marky Mark,
Mhm.
just MMA. And I'm just I like, again, back to Joel Edgerton. He's in that also. So like I said, I'm a big fan of his, but I'll probably wait for that one. So for me, Contagion is going to be my pick of the week.
Mine too. I've heard good things about Warrior. I'm a sucker for disease movies. Outbreak, I love Outbreak. So I'm definitely gonna go see Contagion, even though I'll probably be freaked out the whole movie. And like Justin said, I'll be crying, wanting Perel. I'll probably bathe in it when I get home. I won't touch any doorknobs for probably the rest of the week, but I still want to see it. Warrior looks really good. Bucky Larson looks really stupid. I like Nick Swartzen. I actually think he's kind of funny. He was in 30 Minutes or Less, and I thought he did pretty good. But I don't think he can carry a whole movie. I don't think his
No.
shtick works for a whole movie. The trailer parts of it were kind of funny, but it looks stupid. It just looks stupid. Bucky and Hare, or Burke. I keep saying Bucky and Hare. Burke and Hare looks interesting. It looks really British though, like really British. But like I said, Isla Fisher's in it. I want her. I want what's his name? The Borat. What's his name? Borat.
Yeah.
Oh, Sacha
Sacha Baron
Baron
Cohen.
Cohen.
She's married to him. I want him to dump her horribly, and then I want to find her when she's in the lowest spot of her life, because then I got a shot. And that's really what I want to do.
Let's be honest. If Borat dumps her, she's probably gonna be pretty happy.
I'm trying. You're kind of killing my dreams. I don't know why you feel like you got to do that. Creature looks just absolutely stupid. Like I said, they're claiming it's going to be open and wide September 9th. I see no way that happens because it does not look like a big budget movie. It doesn't look like a small budget movie. It looks like I made it in my backyard movie.
Really.
So Contagion's my pick.
Same here.
So before we go to the trailer break, which is going to be Rum Diary, we're going to play our new little trivia game. Justin's going to take the inaugural leap. It's called Stump the Hoe. We're come on.
Stomp.
No, not Stomp. Stump. Stomp the Hoe happens later. Basically, how this is going to work is Justin this week is going to ask a trivia question. It's going to be a hard one. It's not going to be like something simple. Supposedly. I mean, that's the plan. We'll see when we hear it. And then each one of us, Scott, myself, and Brian, will get one guess for what the answer to this trivia question is. And then we'll tell you the actual answer when we come back from the break. So take it away, Justin. It's your turn for Stump the Hoe.
Well, I am the Star Wars guy, apparently. So I thought that since I was going to do the question this week, I would go ahead and choose a piece of Star Wars trivia. In the iconic opening crawl that you see when Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope opens, that text is actually the fourth draft of the words written to open the movie. The first three drafts were considered too difficult to understand, and so another person stepped in to help co-write that opening crawl and make it better. Who was that person?
Thomas
Hint.
Jefferson.
Hint. This person's name came up last episode.
Ooh,
There's your hint.
I like it. Brian, you go first because I'm still thinking.
Go with Harrison Ford.
Really?
I got no idea. But
Scott?
Oh Boy, I have no idea. He was mentioned last episode. The only one I can think of was mentioned last episode is Joss Whedon, and I know he's way too young. So
I'll probably go with Steven Spielberg, I guess.
that was
I
my initial
I don't
thought,
really
but
know.
It seemed too easy of an answer.
I'm a big fan of Too Easy. That's a good question. So we're going to find out after the break. Right now, you're going to listen to a trailer for Rum Diary starring Johnny Depp.
Puerto Rico. I came down here looking for a story.
It's called journalism.
Your resume, huh? Don't look so anxious. I wouldn't have paid for your hotel if I hadn't already hired you.
But I found the strangest paradise on earth.
Hey, you made it.
Thought you said you had a TV.
The guy across the alley has a TV. I have binoculars.
It's where your secrets come to dance.
Don't notice the wig.
And the voodoo works its magic. And if the drinking doesn't get you into trouble,
How does anybody drink 161 miniatures?
Are they not complimentary?
the women definitely will.
I thought maybe you were a mermaid.
I'm from Connecticut.
Stay away from her. She's Sanderson's fiancée.
She sunbathes in the nude.
She's a sweet little beauty. I was looking at his boat.
We've all been down on her. It's a wonderful experience.
Now, all this might sound like some crazed hallucination, but it's all true. I think.
This place is a sea of money, Paul. And there's people like me who know how to get it out.
Isn't that kind of thing illegal?
It's an inappropriate comment.
We've nailed this bastard to his own front door. I got a story for you. I'm going after him.
Are you out of your mind?
I'll bet you scream before I do.
No such thing as 470 proof alcohol.
What we do is private.
Front seat's gone.
I've got a brilliant idea.
Try and look normal.
And that was Rum Diary. I hope when that comes out, everybody checks it out because Johnny Depp needs the money.
Make
So-
sure you check. Do you actually see that trailer? Because the end of it, there's a joke that's visual that doesn't work on radio. That's really funny. So
There you go. Look at Scott Clark from the Peanut Gallery. And now to the answer to the Stump the Hoe competition. What is the answer?
All right,
Mr.
well,
Justin.
to remind all of our listeners real quick, the question was, who helped write the final version of the opening text crawl to Star Wars? And the answer is Brian De Palma.
No fucking shit.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
I didn't.
I'm a
Yep.
big Brian De Palma fan. I did not know that.
Yeah, they're all contemporaries, directors who came up around the same time. And Brian De Palma did help write a better version of that opening crawl. So every time you read it, there you go.
That wasn't the title changed from like the original theatrical too? Like it said A New Hope or it's
Originally, it did not come out saying Episode 4.
okay.
It
That's
just
what
came
was.
out saying Star Wars.
Okay.
But I don't remember how far into it they changed it to add the Episode 4, A New Hope.
Okay.
And then, of course, the movies after all followed
Gotcha.
suit.
Cool.
That was an
Interesting.
excellent
Cool.
question.
Mhm.
None of us were even close. So you stumped all us hoes.
I said Josh
Boom.
Whedon.
I don't. Yeah, your answer didn't even make sense.
I know.
He's
Okay.
living in a dream world.
So now we're moving on to From the Outside In. This is where we talk about different things every week. The first thing we're going to go into is movie moments that blew your mind. Stuff where it's kind of like those rare film moments where you realize something you're watching is revolutionary or it's going to change the face of film. Like, I don't want to go too into it because we might ruin somebody's, but Gollum in Lord of the Rings or Jar Jar in episode 1. Something like that. Whatever it is that just blew your mind when you walked out and you thought, I've seen something that's going to change how movies are from this point forward. Without further ado,
If Jar Jar is your choice.
You know, I really kicked this one around quite a bit, even up until just about last night. Because every time I would think of a movie, I would always think of something else that kind of was like, oh, this was really good too. I mean, there was movies like Braveheart, because that was so graphic for that, when that came out, that, every medieval type movie was always, it wasn't really graphic. People died, yeah, but it wasn't as bloody. You didn't see horses getting stabbed by big old pikes, that kind of stuff. What was another one? Saving Private Ryan was really big, and also kind of for the same reasons. The one that I went with was The Usual Suspects.
Ooh.
And, I always kept going back to that one because if you've seen it, the payoff at the end of the movie was just, even though you might have seen it coming or you might have suspected it at some point through the movie, it was just awesome. And the way that it was done, it was just like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
Kaiser Soze.
Yeah, Kaiser Soze. It was neat because they're really kind of telling you, they give you little clues throughout the movie, but in a Sixth Sense kind of way. You don't catch it until the very end, and it goes, oh, hey, that's right. That's, dadgum. It is this guy. So
you can talk about the spoilers. I mean, the movie's been out for forever.
Sorry.
You okay, Justin?
Check your neck. It might be a little red.
Fucking Gomer Pyle just showed up.
Shazam!
He said Gomer Pyle just showed up.
Oh wow.
No, that was a great ending, and it was a big twist. What did you? How do you think that changed movie going for you?
It made me a lot more. It made me search a lot more for interesting stories, for interesting movies. So I became a lot more interested in like indie flicks. A lot of these movies, like we talked about with our flashbacks, those ones that may not get a lot of widespread release or may go straight to DVD. So it really kind of helped me kind of filter through all the glitz and glamour of Hollywood and kind of find some of these maybe darker movies, well-written movies, independent movies. I mean, you name it. So it really kind of just kind of spurred that a little bit. So
I like it.
That's about it.
Cool.
What about you, Justin? What was yours?
Don't steal mine.
Well, the one that when I first proposed this idea for this segment, the movie that, aside from Star Wars, obviously, completely changing the way I looked at film, what film could do, and almost changed the world, at least for me, was the original Matrix. It's 1999.
Damn it.
I go into this movie to the theater. I really, strangely enough, had not seen much as far as trailers go. I think at that time, that was the year when Episode 1, it came out. And I was all about that film. I was all about Star Wars. And so somehow The Matrix almost completely slipped by me, but I had a free afternoon, went to the movies, saw it was up, poster looked cool, went in to go see it. And when I came out of that theater, I felt like I had walked out into a different world because it was so transcendental in the way that it handled action, the way that it handled story. I love the use of color, the use of music. Of course, the whole bullet time thing I had seen in those, the Gap commercials, the whole khaki commercial. It was, I think, the first time that you really saw that whole kind of bullet time effect used. But of course, this is used to a much greater effect, and it was such a smart movie, and just so unique in the way it did things. And it was the first time I ever thought that an anime cartoon could be done as a movie, because so many things they did were pulled from animated movies from Japan. I felt like I had become a different person watching this film, that the world was different. And to this day, I can still look back on it and just thoroughly enjoy everything they did. I'm also one of those strange people who thinks The Matrix Reloaded is the better film of the three.
What?
I do. I think Matrix and Matrix Revolutions are duking it out for a really close second, but I like what they did with The Matrix Reloaded. I loved that they took the bare bones ideas you saw in The Matrix and really fleshed them out, gave them so much more story. I love the whole the Keymaker thing and the Merovingian, all the little mythological and the philosophical elements that they just drop in, that if you get it, fine. If you understand what they're talking about, it enriches the experience, but you don't have to to just really enjoy this film. There are some problems with it, yes, but I love The Matrix Reloaded. But I wouldn't have that movie if they hadn't done The Matrix, which completely changed movies as far as I'm concerned. Afterwards, how many times then did we see people try to reproduce that whole lobby shootout?
Yes.
How many, the sunglass wearing, really hip shooter guys, and so many visual elements have now been taken and used in other films. I absolutely love that movie, and it blew my mind. I still love watching that film.
Little known fact, I still dress like that on the weekends.
Do you?
I wear long leather and sunglasses. Yep.
And all black?
All black. Scott?
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. I'm wearing it right now. Nothing under my coat, though.
Actually, I'm glad I picked two because one of mine was also The Matrix. So,
what was your experience? I mean, if it was your pick, what was your experience?
Well, and I was going to get into because both of mine are kind of unique in the fact that both the ones that I walked out of the theater with my mind blown were movies that I went to and saw, believe it or not, by myself. The first time I saw The Matrix, I went to the theater by myself.
You had no friends to go with?
Me too.
It's not that I didn't have any friends. It's like
you guys still doesn't.
I just did. Yeah, I just did one of the. It was like one of those afternoons. I've been wanting to see it for a real long time, and one afternoon I was like, I'm going to go see this movie, and basically called out some people, and nobody was available, and I just said, screw it, I want to go see this movie really bad, and I went and saw it by myself, and I love the feeling of walking out of a movie with a smile on your face from the opening sequence to the very end, like Justin said, with the music. I thought the music was great. I actually bought the soundtrack for this movie because it works so well. Whether it be that scene where he's where Morpheus is teaching him about the Matrix and he's walking through the crowd. There's that lyricless song that's going on in the background that's just really moody. I like that. To the Rage
Against Club to Death.
Yeah, Club to Death, and the Rage Against the Machine song that goes when the end title credits go. It all felt. It made me feel really cool inside. Like, wow, this is something that it's a fun universe. It could be real, and obviously the visuals and everything were something I'd never seen before. I really liked it as well too.
The biggest thing for me on the Matrix, especially Usual Suspects, obviously the ending just blew me away. Mm-hmm. But in the Matrix itself, everybody talks about special effects, and I realize why everybody looks at it that way. But the biggest thing for me was the ending. Mm-hmm. When you actually realize what this really is. I'm like, oh fuck, that blew my mind. Mm-hmm. And I think probably more so than even Usual Suspects, because I think Usual Suspects you can go back and you can kind of pick it apart a little bit if you want to, because you realize that if you haven't seen it, well, shame on you. But
yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen it by now, you're probably not going to watch it.
At the very end of the movie, you realize that basically the whole movie could have been a lie. Like you realize that not everything is even what they told you before.
But it was
the Matrix. Yeah, it was done in a very clever way, so you don't know one way or the other. But you think everything you saw is real, just with the different characters. Mm-hmm. Now, the Matrix, I really had no idea what the fuck was going on until the very end. Mm-hmm. When you say, "Oh, that's what it is," I got it, and that part probably blew me away far more than the special effects did, because I think by the time I saw it, everybody had talked about it so much that it didn't blow me away as much as it does everybody else. Sure. But
can I just throw one other one there, since Justin and I had the same one anyway? But the other one I saw, again, I also saw it by myself, and this is the only time.
I'm starting to feel really bad for you.
No. This same kind of thing. I saw the trailer, I really wanted to see it. Actually, a friend recommended this movie to me and said, you have to see this movie. So I went up and saw it at a small theater up in my hometown, and I was literally, it was like in the afternoon, I was literally the only guy in the entire theater.
Okay.
Have you ever gone and seen a movie and been the only person in the theater?
No, because I have friends.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually really cool. It was so
people like to hang out with me,
and this isn't like
why.
a visually stunning movie or anything like that. But you guys already know from the original one that this is my favorite movie. But I saw Fight Club by myself, and
you can't talk about it.
Why?
Because it's the first rule.
It's the first rule, dumbass.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, go ahead.
Somebody who likes the movie, they don't know the fucking rules.
I didn't pick up on what he was saying. I thought maybe I stole his pick or something. No. That didn't make sense. So.
I'm supposed to be the slow one here.
No, but just from the opening on that one, the writing was so cool. It was funny, and the ending of that movie, which again I won't spoil. I sat in the theater with my mouth open, like I can't believe this is happening, and the way it just wound up wrapping up, and with that Pixie song at the end, I walked out of that theater, and again, there's something about walking out of a theater at night versus walking out of a theater when it's a day, because like you're in a real dark theater or maybe by yourself or with people, and you walk out and it's daylight. That just
apparently you're usually by yourself. I'm just saying.
It's only happened like 2 or 3 times, but I walked out of that theater with half smile, half my mouth open, like trying to process what I had just seen, and that's what I like. I mean, I apparently can't have a movie podcast without talking about Inception, but that's another honorable mention, or The Dark Knight. Like, I know my mind's been blown, or I've been visually stimulated when I'm walking out of the theater with a huge smile on my face, and that's what I did with both Matrix and Fight Club. So.
Those are good choices. I'm going to give you 2 real quick ones, and then I'm going to give you the one that I would say is my choice for movie moments that blew my mind. The first one is kind of an odd pick, I think, but Die Hard. Now, most of you guys, well, Scott, you might remember, but Brian and Justin, you're my age, so you probably remember this. But when that first came out, seeing a normal, average guy trying to take on terrorists and bleeding and being just hurt to hell. Mm-hmm. Obviously, just not wanting to be part of it. That was not part of movies at that point. Like back then, every hero was like the Clint Eastwood type. He was a badass. He walked in, he knew he was going to own everything. Or the Arnold
Schwarzenegger, or
Rambo.
Stallone. Rambo.
Exactly. Or just over ridiculous people. Where Die Hard had the first time I had ever seen an average guy get caught up in this extraordinary situation and have to like take over. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the whole movie, he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want anything to do with it. He doesn't give a shit about any of their big what they're looking for. All he cares about is, I got to get my wife, get the fuck out of this building, and be done with this. That's all I want. And that had never been done before. And obviously now it's in every fucking movie. There's very few of the actual Schwarzenegger type heroes anymore. But that blew me away, seeing that. Just seeing a guy get beat to hell and act like all he wanted was amazing to me.
When we get closer to Christmas, I'll have to tell you why I don't think this is a Christmas movie. And everyone in the world disagrees with me.
It makes me happy. Makes me joyous and whatever. My other minor pick, or honorable mention, whatever you want to call it, was Jurassic Park. Because for me, the combination, before you go to that movie, Steven Spielberg was very excellent with advertising and marketing and making sure that not everything was shown before you got to that movie. So before you walked through the doors, you had an idea about dinosaurs, and you might have seen like a quick clip here and there, but you had no idea what you were in for. And the combination of animatronics and CGI to make you believe that the actual dinosaurs happened, I don't think has happened since Jurassic Park, in my opinion. I think it's the benchmark for everything that CGI wants to do.
It looks better than a lot of films today.
I agree. And it's a perfect combination. Like, you have the physical effects and you have some CGI. And a lot of it was animatronics. I mean, most people don't know that. They think it's all CGI, and it's not. Mm-hmm. A lot of that is puppets and shit. And they did it fantastic. I believed that there were dinosaurs in that kitchen with those kids and at that car. And it was just fantastic. Now my final pick, this is the one that blew me away, blows my mind, and changed movies for me. It made me realize, wow, this is going to change how cinema works. Mm-hmm. Was Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction. When I went and saw Pulp Fiction, and I'd seen Reservoir Dogs, and I'd seen some kind of dark, edgy shit, but you never saw anything that was successful, a box office hit, or anything else of that nature. It was right about the time that adrenaline needle punctured Uma Thurman's chest. That's kind of when I realized this is a movie that I'd never seen before.
Mm-hmm. I stabbed her 3 times?
Yeah. No. The whole movie, there's really no redeeming characters in that whole movie. The violence was sadistic. I mean, you got an ass raper in the movie. And you get the main villain getting just humiliated right in the middle of the movie. You've got 2 characters that are just not likable at all, but somehow make themselves likable. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? The comedy is about as dark as it can get. The stuff that never really got released in the theater, much less make any money. And it was the first time I went to a movie in my life, honestly, where I went to the theater, sat down, and thought, this is art. Even though it's kind of ridiculous to say that, and I don't even like saying it because I think it's kind of prima donna and elitist, like Scott Clark. But it's very much a movie that I consider art, because I think to make all that work takes somebody of extraordinary talent. Even though I think Tarantino, yeah, he does rip off a lot of movies and shit, and or plays homage, whatever you want to say.
Takes some balls too.
Yeah, but that was a ballsy ass choice, and the fact that that movie was a huge hit, got nominated for Oscars, changed how movies were made because the next 2 or 3 years after that, every fucking movie was Pulp Fiction. And it's one of the movies where I walked out just blown away.
It's so quotable too.
It is.
I mean, my wife and I to this day, if we're on the phone and somebody brings up drugs, prank caller.
And I mean, think of all the careers it resurrected. I mean, Bruce Willis finally got some credibility, because he'd kind of lost it after the Die Hard series. John Travolta was saved from, made-for-video days. Samuel L. Jackson, it made Samuel L. Jackson, who then was in every single movie that was released for the next 5 years. And Ving Rhames was fucking awesome, just awesome.
He's the one that got
even though he got ass raped in that movie, he still came out awesome.
Pride.
Yeah. He got fucked with pride. Is that what you said?
No, where he goes, that thing you feel in the back of your neck, that stick in you, that's pride. Fuck pride.
I thought you said he got fucked with pride.
No. You're going to go medieval on your ass.
Is that a brand of lube?
Wow.
I thought he said that's pride fucking with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he goes, fuck pride.
Yeah.
That's such a good movie.
It was great, and some of it was so
Negative.
surprising. And when the
Well,
head
yeah,
gets
and you
blown
walk
off
out
in the
of
back seat, I mean, come on. I never saw that coming.
Oh, God, that was like, what the fuck? The first time I saw that.
This ain't dead Negro storage. I don't like to use the other word, so.
I need to rewatch that. Problem is, my wife refuses to see that movie again. So,
Really?
yeah, she hated it.
That's a fantastic. It's one of those movies that a lot of people don't like, though. That's true.
When that guy gets his head blown off in the backseat of that car.
That's just priceless.
Oh, shit!
And all they want to do is go get breakfast. I just think that's
Royale
fantastic.
with cheese.
Yeah.
That's a good pick, man.
And you never find out what's in the briefcase.
That's true. They never actually show you. All you know is it glows. So whatever it is, it's amazing, apparently. What I'd like to encourage everybody that's listening to do is when you get a chance, go on Facebook /The Hollywood Outsider and just kind of give us your feedback. What movies, moments blew your mind where it took you out of the theater and you walked out thinking you would experience something completely different? Because we'd like to know, and we'll talk about whatever you say on the show. So hopefully you do that, or send us an email at HollywoodOutsider@Comcast.net or feedback@TheHollywoodOutsider.com. Moving on real quick, one of our listeners asked for kind of an explanation for why I always say buy popcorn at the end of the show. That's kind of, I don't know if it's my trademark, but it's something that I encourage for anybody that I'm talking to movies about. They kind of want to know why I say that. Do you guys know why I say that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, Brian, Justin?
I got a little idea.
Well, to kind of just put it into words, this is how it works. I'm not going to talk about international numbers because I don't want to. The longer you talk about this subject, the more people are probably going to fall asleep. It's really not exciting. But how the business part of movies go, theaters commit to screens. The studio is going to take about 50% of whatever the gross is. And it's going to be a lot more for a tentpole release. Now, tentpole means major release. Okay? If anybody has any questions, just chime in. Or they want to tell me I'm fucking wrong. Do that too. So say like Harry Potter's released, in the first 2 weeks, the studio might command as much as like 70% of the gross. So if it makes, say, $100 million, the studio is going to take $70 million of those dollars. And the theaters, the 3,000 to 6,000 screens nationwide, are going to have to split the remaining $30 million up. Okay, and that includes any of their expenses and anything else. So for the first week or two, they could take as much as that. Now, generally, it's about 55 to 60%, but they take a big chunk of that money. So every dollar that comes in, the theater only gets about 40 cents. So, and the theaters that they have to have those big releases because that's where the majority of people come in for. And the theaters that show these movies that don't make this much, they really have to sell concessions. That's really where they make their money. So it's not really about, when you think of the individual theaters and the expenses and everything else, they don't make as much as you think they would. For films that bomb or have been out for a while, only getting 50% of the gross isn't a whole lot at all. So all their money is made off concessions, or the majority of their money. Basically, the money they make off the actual movie pays their expenses. So profit comes from concessions. So those ridiculously high-priced concessions are kind of how they stay in business. So I know people like to complain about the prices, but don't buy them if you can't afford them. The studios didn't spend like $150, $200 million on those dumbass special effects movies that Brian requires. the masses and the rest of the masses want, they might not need so high a cut.
I got a question.
Sure.
If most of their money is made off of concessions, why don't they? Can't theaters focus on making some like good quality food? I mean, you know what I mean. I mean, I know it's cheap to do the cheap hot dogs and sell them for $4, but
you got to remember, it's just like I mean, they don't have a whole kitchen in the middle of a theater.
No, I'm not saying like 6-course meal or something like that, but let me buy a hamburger and some fries or something like that.
I think a lot of them are adapting like chicken strips and shit like pizzas and stuff like that. I don't know. I think if you need a pizza, maybe you should get one before the movie, but that's just my personal opinion.
Well, yeah.
You guys have any questions on that or thoughts on it? You think it's ridiculous?
Well, I've noticed a little bit of I guess a small trend, and we don't have one down here where I'm at, but I noticed I've read something not long ago about how a lot of theaters are actually starting to go towards serving alcohol or at least beer, and serving, like you say, larger meals. Where you can actually kind of do everything at the movie. You get you something to eat, and you either eat it before you walk in the theater or you eat it while you are in the theater. So, because I think they're basically they're kind of hurting to stay in business.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, that's a generalization, but there's not a whole lot extra there anymore. So yeah, it's definitely buying the popcorn and stuff is what kind of keeps those doors open.
Fair enough.
I tend to prefer those theaters that offer extra amenities. I know I said a couple episodes ago that I really like the movie tavern where you go in and you actually can get beers, drinks, margaritas, hamburgers, pizza while you're watching your film. When my wife and I were in Austin a little while ago, they had, and I don't remember the name, I think it was Gold Ticket Theater or something to that effect, but it was a really high price ticket, but every seat was a nice big recliner type seat. There weren't any children allowed into the screening, and we had a really good time, but it was like, I think $20-$30 a ticket.
Good Lord.
But with the seat, the limited number of people in it, and the quality of the food, plus you got like a free bucket of popcorn, made that experience. I'm willing to pay more if the theater is going to offer me more things. If there's no kids that are allowed in, no matter whether they're accompanied by a parent, better food, better quality of seating, those sorts of things, I'm willing to pay for it. So they can make some more money without just making every bucket of popcorn cost you $10. There are other ways they can maybe do it.
Fair enough. And that's basically just a quick rundown for one of our listeners that wanted to know how that works. So I will
tell you one thing I like to do with the popcorn is get the biggest tub.
Put a hole in the bottom of it.
Yeah, exactly. Let it sit there on my lap for the rest of the movie. No, but I'm like, there's no way I'm eating that giant tub of popcorn. But I love taking it home and let it get like a couple of days old. It gets just a little bit, I don't want to say stale, but it's not quite as fresh as it was, when you got it. And it soaks up all that butter and everything. So then when you eat it, it's just, you get this little burst of butter in your mouth. Oh, it's awesome.
I know what you're talking about.
I don't know, but that was like the dirtiest explanation of eating popcorn I've ever heard.
I knew that was, that was.
I'm just saying, dude, it sounded like it was a porn butter. I don't know what you're eating, but apparently it's delicious.
Just try it. Take you whatever's left over. Don't throw it away.
Do you like to smear cinnamon butter on yourself too?
Next time we'll talk about self-buttering our popcorn and how much it fucking pisses me off.
Well, we still have the girl behind the counter do it, so we don't have to butter ourselves this time.
And now we're going to go into The Couch, which is where we talk about what's the new DVD and Blu-ray releases that are out, as well as our flashback DVDs, which we'll get to in a second. Coming out September 6th, X-Men First Class is coming out. That is the prequel to the X-Men series, which does not have cool-ass Hugh Jackman taking up a lot of space.
Damn.
Hannah, which is, I don't know, it's kind of like The Professional all over again. Everything Must Go, which is Will Ferrell trying to make a serious comedy, which is kind of an oxymoron if you think about it.
I don't know. He had one that worked.
Yeah, he had one. Assassination Games, which is Jean-Claude Van Damme trying to resurrect his career, and that's not going to happen until Expendables 2. Criminal Minds, Fringe, Office, Parks and Recreation, and Two and a Half Men all have the most recent DVD sets. What is y'all's pick of the week?
I think we probably might all have the same one here, but X-Men was a fantastic movie.
Nope.
No? Really?
Nope.
What's yours?
Well, because I knew all of you were going to pick that one, and I want to make sure that this got a mention. My pick of the week has to be season 3 of Fringe. Fringe is an amazingly smart, amazingly well done sci-fi TV show. It's half X-Files, it's half Lost. It is everything in between those two. Such a good show that takes risks, that has a premise that challenges the mind. I mean, my wife and I we TVR everything, but Fringe is a show we will watch as it airs because we really want to be there and enjoy it together. Phenomenal show. I'm so glad they're coming back for a 4th. If people are not watching Fringe, you should be, and you're a genre fan, you should be ashamed of yourself. Don't let the fact that it's on Fox stop you. I fucking hate Fox too, and I wish them all continued death after so many shows. Firefly, Briscoe County Jr., Brimstone. There were so many good shows they've killed. Fuck it. They are continuing to give Fringe love. For that, I have to thank them. Genre fans everywhere not watching it, watch Fringe. It's fantastic.
I'll be honest. Yeah. I'm actually surprised it's still on because it hasn't done very well in ratings.
It hasn't. Oh. Thank God Fox has somehow found a way to keep financing it and making it worth it. It is so good.
Yeah, but don't you think they're kind of stretching the whole multi-universe thing a bit?
Well, they are, but they're doing it in interesting ways. And the way the last season ended, I have no fucking idea how they're going to handle a new season. I like shows that do that because so many shows, every week's kind of not much different than the week before, and there may be an upheaval or two, but nothing really big, nothing that leaves you wondering how the fuck are they going to continue this. That's how Fringe has continually done it. They're always throwing these curveballs at you. I love challenging shows.
Yeah, I thought the first season was phenomenal. The second season was good. It kind of got, I think, maybe midway got a little slow. Third season, I think, kind of started out a little slower too, but it also kind of picked up midway and really finished, strong. So I'm a big fan of it. I just keep waiting just to see the little, thing pop up on the news somewhere saying that it's been canceled. Because I like it, and that usually is what happens to shows I like. So.
Yeah, and Anna Torv is fantastic as the lead actress. I know some people don't like her. I don't know why. I think she's great. And I'm curious if Scott knows, for his favorite subject, where Anna Torv may have intersected with video games.
I don't know.
She was the voice actress and the motion capture actress for the lead character in Heavenly Sword.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Yeah, that was her.
Brian, what was your pick?
It would be X-Men.
Yeah, mine too. Actually, Hannah, I really want to see, but obviously I can't say it's my pick if I haven't seen it.
I will buy X-Men, but I will watch Hannah, but I won't. I won't buy that, but yeah. I will buy X-Men.
My wife informed me last night that we would be buying X-Men. She liked it. I think what was so cool about X-Men is I went into it expecting it to be a cheap cash-in, and it wound up being a really good movie.
I would say it was better than most of the X-Men movies, to be honest. Also coming out September 13th, another Marvel movie, Thor, comes out, which is really the only big release that week. So,
and I still have yet to see that. So
that's a good one. So moving on, we are going to do our flashback DVDs. Now, keep a reminder for anybody that doesn't know how this works is that each person gets 60 seconds, 90 seconds, blah, 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 blah. Each person gets 60 seconds, 90 seconds maximum to kind of give their trailer for the movie, why they love it, what it's about, whatever they want to say. And then we can discuss it, when they're all done. We are going to start what used to be our Does It Make You a Sally bit. We're just going to alternate that in this. So each week somebody's going to get a date movie recommendation for the ladies out there, so that you and your burly man have something to watch. This week I'm going to do it because obviously I am the most in touch with my feminine side, and I'm touching it right now, actually. So
that's your nipple.
That's my feminine side. Without further ado, let's start with Scott.
You're going to start with me?
Yep.
Okay. Well, my pick of the week actually happens to be a romantic comedy as well. This is one of my favorite romantic comedies. It's Notting Hill, which may not be a popular favorite, but this is from 1999, Stars Hugh Grant and Julia Roberts. It's a story of a nobody guy that works at a small bookstore in a small town called Notting Hill. He runs into a famous American actress played by Julia Roberts, and they pretty much hit it off. And the story deals with the ups and downs of a non-famous person trying to deal with the chaos of a famous person. This movie's kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. As I mentioned in last week's review of Love Actually, I like Hugh Grant a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He's a likable character. I'm also a sucker for movies where you feel sorry for the main character because he gets screwed over by the female character. It's usually the other way around in movies, in my experience. Like I always like it when you feel sorry for the guy instead. And Grant plays that downtrodden, sad guy, perfectly. There's also a really cool, the humor is great, especially with the main character's crazy family and his roommate, which is just makes me laugh every time I see it. It's a heartwarming, fantasy tale about what it'd be like to win the heart of a famous person. And the last thing I want to say about it is there's a really awesome scene in the film that represents the passing of time. Hugh Grant is walking through town in real time, but the world around him is going through seasonal changes, weather changes. There's like a woman at the beginning that's pregnant, and then as it goes through time, she's holding a baby, the same woman. It's just a really clever and a very well done scene, and it wraps up in a really good way, and a lot of likable characters. I really like this film.
It's a sweet movie. It was pretty popular when it came out, actually.
Was it? Okay. I thought it was not.
No. Let's go. Anybody have any thoughts on that one? Big Notting Hill fans?
Never actually saw it. I'll have to watch that.
That's a good movie.
I'm not gonna say it's like a fantastic movie, but it's worth a watch. I mean, like I said, it's guilty pleasure, so to speak.
After Hugh Grant cheated on his wife, I just wasn't going to support him.
Aw, you're so noble.
Well, when you cheat on her with what he cheated on her with, you've lost a lot of respect.
Yeah, she needs to be a little hotter. Like if you would have got a blowjob from like somebody smoking hot, I would have been like, all right.
Isla Fisher, maybe.
Oh God, would you really blame him?
We'd have given him high fives.
I would. Like, fuck your whore wife. That chick is hot.
And Justin's like, yeah, I would have seen Notting Hill then.
Let's try.
Wait, what about Brian? What did Brian think? Have you seen it?
It's been a while since I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
It's it was. I remember it being pretty good. I just honestly don't remember a whole lot about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was. But I remember it was. I remember it kind of. Like I say, enjoying it. But it's been. What year did you say it came out?
99.
99.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Didn't think it was that long ago, but yeah, good pick.
Let's go with Justin next. We'll do Brian. I'll go after Justin and then Brian. So Justin, you're next. Go.
All right. This one is a film that I am pretty sure nobody on this podcast or listening to this podcast has ever watched, nor have they ever heard of it. It's a movie that I first discovered when it was out on video, back when, it was actually VHS tapes that you would wander around the store looking to rent. It stars, it made in 1992, so it stars a much younger Jason Bateman, C. Thomas Howell, Jonathan Silverman, and Annie Potts, and it's called Breaking the Rules. And for some reason, it's named Sketches, I believe it is. If you go to Netflix and want to look for it, it is available on instant streaming under the name Sketches. Why? I have no idea. It's not on DVD so far as I know of. It's certainly not on Blu-ray. So VHS and streaming may be the only ways you can get it. But when I first saw it, by the time it was over, I was crying my eyes out. And it became my go-to when Justin needs, for whatever reason, a good cry. This was the movie I go to, because it's about Jason Bateman is a young man who unfortunately has cancer of some sort. I don't remember exactly what it is. The movie Fanboys borrows heavily from this movie. I don't know if the guy who wrote it and directed it knew it or not, but it's basically stealing the premise of Jason Bateman's character. He's going to be dying soon, so he brings two of his friends back together who stopped being friends because of a girl, and lies to them, tricks them into going on a little road trip with him because he wants to be on Jeopardy. And so he gets his friends together to go with him to go do this. Of course, they find out that he's going to be dying soon, and kind of his dying wish is to spend time with his friends, have them rekindle their friendship. As you would expect, by the end of it, Jason Bateman's character does not survive the film. It breaks me up every time I watch it, especially at the end of the movie when there's this whole video that they play and they're all singing a song, and it breaks my heart. I recently watched it on streaming through Netflix just to refamiliarize myself with it because it had been a long time since I'd seen it because I'd only had it on VHS, and fuck, I don't think I've watched a VHS tape since I changed out my VHS for a DVD when The Matrix came out. So it's been a long time. It's still a heartbreaker. Directed by a guy named Neil Israel, who has gone on to do lots of TV, but nothing of real note. It's a good. I wouldn't say it's a good film. It is definitely a film of 1992. It is thick with 1992-ness, on it. So it's not a movie that will span the ages and never get away from its period. But it still made me cry. It still worked.
Okay. That's on Netflix Instant?
It is on Netflix Instant. Just look for Sketches and not Breaking the Rules.
I've actually heard of the movie Sketches. I have not heard of the movie Breaking All the Rules. So I assume it's the same movie then.
Hey, I forgot to mention also, Notting Hill is also available on Instant Stream on Netflix as well.
Sweet. Well, mine, which is, like I said, the former Sally thing, is a date movie. And I tried to find something that was maybe a little newer that would be available on all media outlets. So you and your sweet missus or Mr., whichever you're into, or Shetland Pony, could watch with love. The one I came up with was one that actually took me by surprise. It's called You Again. It's available on Blu-ray, DVD, and Netflix Instant. It wasn't a very popular movie. Didn't make a lot of money. It's a recent flick that just came out. Probably, I think it was last year, but very few people have seen it. So most people don't know what it is. It has a yummy Kristen Bell. She stars as Marnie, who's like a career exec. She moved out of her house, moved away from her family, and she's coming back because her brother's getting married. And she finds out that her brother is marrying Joanna, who is this crazy bitch that made her life miserable in high school. Just ruined everything about her. And Joanna's played by Odette Yustman from Cloverfield. She was the dark-haired chick in Cloverfield. Turns out her brother and her got engaged. Joanna's having this thing where she's basically a reformed person, where she's new and super and joyous and yay. Marnie's not buying it, so she wants to destroy everything about this girl. So she spends the entire film determined to end this travesty and correct the wrongs that were done to her in high school. At the same time, her mom's played by Jamie Lee Curtis, who discovers that Joanna's aunt Ramona is played by Sigourney Weaver. It's her high school nemesis. So basically, both these crazy bitches are going at each other through the whole movie, just trying to destroy each other. All these four women are and they're playing it perfect, I thought. Victor Garber's also in it, who also, I said earlier, I'm a big fan of from Alias. And Betty White's in it really briefly. Very low-key, not the crazy Betty White you guys have known to love. It's a very funny movie. If you're looking for a date movie, and you can both sit through and you haven't seen it before, I think you can do a lot worse. I was only kind of looking forward to it because Kristen Bell's in it. I'm a huge Veronica Mars fan. And basically anything with Kristen Bell I'm a fan of.
She's hot.
She's very attractive and funny. And she's funny. So we had a great time watching it. It was actually one of those comedies where I had a lot of fun watching it. And I don't get that very often. A lot of times I watch comedies, they're not clever to me. I've seen every joke a million times. I just thought it did it in a way that made it its own, and it made it kind of funny. And they really, obviously it's not a horribly deep movie, but they do kind of try to show that, hey, people do grow a little from high school. So, and maybe sometimes they're trying to get past that. But they also have a lot of crazy bitch scenes, and I'm a big fan of those. So
I'm glad you brought this up because I actually saw the trailer for this back when it came out, and I forgot about it, and I never got to see it. So
it's actually surprisingly good.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely check that out.
I added it to my instant queue while you were talking.
You should watch it. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I'll watch it because Kristen Bell is hot. I mean, her in a slave girl Leia outfit to die for.
Oh my god, that was Fanboys, wasn't it?
That was.
Yes.
Oh.
Brian Williams, are you ready?
Yeah.
Go.
The one I'm talking about is Animal Kingdom. I actually kind of made reference to it earlier. It involves most people in this movie you wouldn't recognize. It's an Australian movie. It does have that Joel Edgerton from Warrior and a few other movies. He it's got Guy Pearce. But anyway, it's about this guy called Josh. His name's Joshua, but everybody calls him Jay. He's a 17-year-old kid who whose mother ODs on heroin. So he's basically forced to live with his grandmother and a few uncles. But the bad part about it is his mother is basically kind of a crime kingpin type of lady, and his uncles are a bunch of criminals. So the whole movie basically is him trying to survive. He runs into Guy Pearce, who is a detective who's trying to capture one of his uncles, and that's where kind of all the drama takes place with after that. So it is a bit slow, but it's really tense. There's a few scenes that are really that kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat, and it's like I said, it's a good movie. It's not one that just that you probably come across, but it is on Netflix. You can rent it on pay-per-view, and I believe it's on cable. I believe Stars. I think it's on Stars right now. So check it out.
Okay, so we've got Notting Hill, Sketches, You Again, and Animal Kingdom. So anybody's looking for a movie, there's 4 choices. One of them's bound to be good. Most likely mine. I'm just saying. And with that pretty much brings to a close our show. We are going to have another edition in the next week or so where we're going to focus on the upcoming TV season, because that should be starting anytime. What we're going to talk about, one of the things we're going to talk about is each one of us is going to have our top 3 picks of shows that are coming out. What are our top 3 choices of the new shows that are starting? What are the 3 that each of us want to see the most? I mean, we could spend a whole freaking 3 hours talking about every show that's coming on, and most of them will be canceled by the time the podcast gets up. So we're just each going to pick 3, and then we'll also talk about some of the stuff that's changing on some of the shows. So before we do that, if anybody has any ideas for the TV edition, stuff that you'd want to hear about before we actually do it, send us an email. You can send us an email at either HollywoodOutsider@comcast.net, or you can send one to feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. You can reach us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Hollywood Outsider. You can go to the website at thehollywoodoutsiders.com, and you can tweet us on H_outsider. I couldn't come up with any more fucking modes for you people to say something. Seriously, it would cost me.
Google Plus?
Fuck you! God damn it, dude. We'll be setting up a Google Plus account sometime in the near future. Actually, I just got on there. I really don't think it's that amazing. It's Facebook. It's Facebook with a Google logo. That's really all it is. But we will probably get on there too, because it's going to be required, and Justin mentioned it, so now I have to do it.
I'm not on it yet either, so.
And I am going to be out of commission for a week because I'm going backpacking. Manpacking is packbacking is what my friends call it.
Manpacking.
Manpacking's a whole different.
Yeah, it is.
My good buddy Tyler always calls it packbacking.
Squeal like a pig.
Yep. Yep, we're going to do it Brian style. That's right.
Oh. What deliverance before
hey,
you go
you're the
there?
one man packing.
That's right.
You know,
I like packbacking, actually. I think that rolls off the tongue.
Don't try to drag me into your little fetishes.
But we will be back in a week to 10 days, something like that. So please be sure to tune in. Anybody have any parting thoughts?
Thanks for listening, and shoot Aaron an email. He wants to hear what you guys think.
You want me to name every avenue they can send it again?
No.
Take another 5-10 minutes.
Just reiterating.
Justin,
I'd like to hear from people.
Parting thoughts?
I love you guys.
Aw. Brian, do you have parting thoughts? Do they think out there?
Do you have thoughts?
I don't love Brian, but I love you too. Brian, I just kind of like.
Aw.
There you go. We're still
We're still
trying to get to know each other.
That's right. We're still in the opening stages.
Stop feeling your nipples
I'm
on the air.
I don't know what I'm doing, but the shirt makes my nipples perk. Sorry to say that out loud again.
Yeah, you did.
Damn it.
Wow.
All right, well, that is our show, and I appreciate everybody listening. Make sure to send us feedback, and we will talk to you in a week or so. Thanks for listening, and go buy popcorn.
Visit, I just wanna go home. You're unable to understand that I'm doing the best I can.
It was Mrs. Obama.
Jesus, there he goes with the Mrs. Obama again. He's convinced that Mrs. Obama looks like the Predator.
She does.
She's missing the dreads.
Well, yeah, but she's got that big old forehead, those big cheeks, and a crazy looking mouth that just. I'm telling you, she was a stand-in or something.
Okay, sound check. Testing. This is Aaron Peterson. Scott.
This is Scott Clark.
Justin.
This is.
Or Brian.
Excuse me. Nobody. I try to jump in there, and that's what fucking happens with you fucking assholes.
Well, send them to me. I would be more than happy to sign them for you.
Yeah, let me read it first. You know.
All right, I understand. You don't want to go through all that effort if it's a turd. You are the taint to Aaron's cock.
Wow. Notice you're the taint.
I think I would rather be the taint than your cock.
You are the taint.
Wow, no warm up at all. Just jump right on.
It's better than
okay,
balls
let's
deep.
go back to the show.
Please tell me we're recording.
No,
please tell me that's not going to be an outtake.
No, but
Two knuckles up.
The Two Knuckles Up 15-year-old rapist story.
I think you got a title for the podcast. So, Two Knuckles Up.
Nobody's gonna understand what that means.